This is an emergency. Margaret, are you listening? This is really an emergency. My goodness, where are you? Linda, what's wrong? Did something happen? I'm at home now. Finally! Why didn't you respond right away? Anyways, you're at home, then you must be free. You know the new shopping mall that just opened up downtown? Meet me there ASAP. I'm already here, so please get here right away. What? You want me to go there right now? Yes, right now. Didn't you hear what I said? I told you this was an emergency, so I need you here now. I'm sorry, but I'm in the middle of doing something right now. I'm making a new smock to use at work, and I just sat down with my sewing machine. A smock? Yes, the one I was using before started to tear. And the kids in my class, they just kept pulling at the threads, so now there's this big hole in it. You know how mischievous preschoolers can be. Anyways, the only time I have to work on things like this is when I have the day off. And there's a whole bunch of other errands I was planning to take care of today. So I'm sorry, but as much as I appreciate your invitation, I won't be able to join you today. What? That's your excuse for not coming today? A single smock. Can't you just buy a new one? They're only, what, like $10, $20? That's true, but you're not saying that you can't afford it, are you? That's not what I'm saying. But I have leftover fabric at home, so I want to use that up. And besides, if it's something I can make by hand, that's what I usually do. You know, when your mother-in-law goes out of her way to invite you to go shopping, you should be more than happy to accept that invitation. As a matter of fact, you're not supposed to turn the invitation down. That's your basic duty as a proper daughter-in-law. I'm really sorry. I don't know what else to say. Then stop complaining and get your lazy self over here. Help me with some of my errands. I'm really in a terrible bind right now, and I need your help right away. Did something happen? You'll see when you get here. Okay, you're the only one I can ask. Well, then fine. Let me get ready and I'll head out right away. Just get here as quickly as you can. I'll be waiting in the coffee shop. It's just to your right as soon as you enter the building on the first floor. I want you to get here before I finish my first cup of coffee. See you soon. Didn't you have so much fun today? Let's have another outing like that again soon. Linda, I'm sorry, but there's no way I'm going shopping with you next time. What? Why? I'm pretty sure you know why. What was the deal with what happened today? You asked me to meet you because there was an emergency, so I dropped what I was doing and rushed to where you were. But then the emergency was that you had too many shopping bags and you couldn't carry it all. And not only did I have to carry all of your shopping bags, but your friends as well. Oh, Violet says, thank you for that, by the way. I met her recently at one of my lunch parties. Isn't she such a beautiful woman, so classy too? We were just talking about how much fun we had today. And because you were there to help us with our bags, we didn't get so worn out. We're not as young as we used to be, you know. So thank you for coming to join us. I'm sorry, Linda, but I'm not your butler or anything, and I didn't rush there just to carry your bags. Thanks to you, I didn't have time to finish any of the work I was planning to complete today, so I hope that you never call me out like that ever again. Margaret, are you actually being serious? Yes, I am. What you're saying, in other words, is that I should never rely on you when I need help? Isn't that a terrible thing to say to your mother-in-law? I'm not saying that you shouldn't rely on me, but I would appreciate it if, from now on, you don't make me accompany you like today. There was no reason for me to be there other than to carry your bags around all day. Like I said, I had a list of errands that needed to be done myself. Oh, I see. I bet you're just mad about that incident. What incident? You know that thing I said to Violet about you? That's because you were raised by a single mother. You're constantly worrying about money. Oh, that. Yes, I heard you mentioning that to your friend. I'm sorry if that made you feel uncomfortable. I just have the tendency to blurt out what comes to my mind. But everything I said is true, so you don't mind now, do you? Besides, Violet was so sympathetic to your upbringing. Did you see how concerned she looked? You must have secretly been happy that she felt so bad about your poor childhood. Not even the slightest bit. Why would I be happy that she sympathized with me? Oh, is that so? I just wasn't sure, since I've never been in a situation where I needed anyone to sympathize with my misfortune. But she handed you some money before she left. Was it supposed to be a tip for your services, or some kind of charity? It was the first time I've ever seen anyone being given a handout like that. I almost burst out laughing. You know I returned that money right away. You watched me hand it back to her. I have no need for it. Oh, Margaret, you don't need to be ashamed about asking for help. You really shouldn't put up such a brave front all the time. Who's to say that Hunter won't leave you one day for being so hard-headed? Especially since you're already a disappointment as a daughter-in-law as it stands. Thank you, Linda, for your much unwarranted advice. I'll try to keep that in mind. But in the meantime, I have to finish up my work, so I'll be going now. I don't know how you manage to work so constantly, but I guess you just have no choice if you want to afford a comfortable lifestyle. But if you get really desperate, you can start collecting empty cans and bottles for extra money. I heard that you can get a 10-cent refund on each one. Really? Oh, but you should start thinking about having children soon, too. And if you have any questions about raising proper children, you can always ask me for advice. I'm just worried because you didn't have a father growing up, so you probably weren't able to have a normal childhood. Wow. Thank you so much for your concern. Sure, my mother was the one who raised me single-handedly since I was a girl, but she did everything she could to make sure that I was well provided for. So I never felt like I was missing out on anything just because I didn't have a father. And even as an adult, I've never felt ashamed or embarrassed about my upbringing. My mother was always confident and never backed down from people who tried to discourage her. And I always wanted to grow up into a woman with even half the confidence that she had. You're much more stubborn than confident, in my opinion. Anyways, there's really no point in talking about money to someone who's never had enough of it, right? But if you're really struggling financially, you just let me know, okay? I can help you out to some degree. And you can pay me back, slowly, of course, with interest.
Maggie, did something happen yesterday?
Why?
I know you had the day off yesterday, but when I came home from work, you seemed kind of depressed, and you went straight to bed saying you were really tired. Did I do something to make you mad?
Oh, no, it has nothing to do with you. I just had a long day, and I really was just tired. I'm sorry if I made it seem like I was mad.
Oh, okay. I know that being a preschool teacher must be a lot of work. If you're too busy, you don't have to cook dinner every night. I don't want to put such a burden on you. I can cook for the two of us if I get home from work early enough. Or we can just get takeout or go out to eat.
Thanks, you're always so thoughtful. I'm so lucky to have such a kind husband.
I think it's pretty normal to help each other out, but I'm glad you feel that way about me. You know how we started dating right before we graduated college, and then we got married within the year?
Yeah, it was pretty quick. Are you saying that you regret getting married so soon?
No, that's not what I'm saying, and I definitely don't regret getting married. I was just trying to say that we probably still have a lot to learn about each other. If there's something you want me to do or don't want me to do, I want you to be able to tell me all of that without hesitating. I wouldn't say I'm the most reliable person out there, but I want to do everything I can to support you.
That's not true. You already do more than enough for me. I have absolutely nothing to complain about. Thank you. I'm really happy with how things are now, even though we're always so busy. I love spending time with you, and I couldn't have asked for a better husband.
Really? I'm really glad you feel that way.
Of course, I'm really grateful for everything that you do. But if there's anything you want to say, don't hesitate to tell me either, okay?
Okay, sure. I just wanted to tell you that and make sure you were okay. Sorry to bother you in the middle of work.
No worries. Thanks for thinking of me. And I'm sorry, too, that you have to worry about me all the time.
Of course I'm gonna worry. It's my duty as your husband to make sure that you keep smiling every day. I'll try to be home early today. Let's watch a movie together or something. Have a good day, my love.
Margaret, are you there? Why aren't you answering? You know that new fancy-looking Chinese restaurant that just opened? I'm here right now and thought it would be nice to invite you out for lunch. Oh, I'm sorry I missed your call, but I already have plans for today, so I'm afraid I won't be able to join you. Plans? What plans do you have this time? Is there more fabric that you need to use up? No, this time it's something else. Anyways, I'm with my friends right now, and I was just talking to them about you. I was telling them how I'm so happy that Hunter got married young, so there's plenty of time for grandchildren. But that I should have asked about his partner's pedigree, so I could have made sure that her upbringing was suitable enough to carry our family name. Excuse me? Pedigree. Are you saying there's something wrong with my lineage? Well, yes, because isn't it true? I mean, you don't know who your father is, right? So what does that say about the kind of woman your mother is? And in fact, you're poor as a church mouse, isn't that right? You think I'm poor? Yes, exactly. And that's too bad. That's no way to live your life. What's the point of working so hard if you're unable to spend the money when and how you want? You even spend your days off working and taking care of errands. Why don't you try and do something enjoyable for yourself once in a while? Or are you in that bad of a financial situation that you can't even afford a little break? Oh, you poor thing. It must be so tough having no parents and no money.
Then in my case, I guess it's no parents, but with money.
What?
You heard me, Mom. I've decided to cut all ties with you completely, as of right now.
Wait, Hunter, is that you?
That's right. Mom, I can't believe the things you've been saying to Maggie all this time behind my back. I never knew you were such an evil coward.
No, you've got this all wrong. Margaret and I are actually really close with each other. She's like a real daughter to me. But she's just been in such a terrible mood since this morning.
Right. Like I'm really gonna believe your lies. I've already seen all the past messages you sent her. So stop trying to make yourself look like a bigger fool than you already are. I really can't believe you would do such a horrible thing. I thought I made it very clear that I didn't want you to be in touch directly with Maggie, especially since we're both still trying to figure out married life together. And I didn't want to add any extra burden on her emotionally.
Now who's acting like a coward here? I just can't believe the nerve of that girl.
Huh?
The moment she realized she's in a bad position, she just goes crying to her husband. Doesn't she have any pride as a wife, or even as a woman? You know, if it were me, I would do what I can to resolve any problems on my own. Especially if these problems were a direct result of the way I was behaving. Hunter, that girl is too weak. How is she supposed to support you from now on if she's not willing to toughen up? Maybe you should replace her with a better wife. It's not too late to start over, you know.
That's enough, you evil witch.
Excuse me?
You know that's exactly what you are. All the things you said about her, you regret not looking into her lineage? And treating her like a dog, expecting her to answer to your beck and call? If that's not already enough to call you a witch, you want me to replace her? Maggie is not an object, and she is not weak.
Well, but she's really antisocial. Don't you think it's a big problem if your wife doesn't make the effort to get along with your own mother? And what about the way she's acting now? She just hands you the phone so you can take care of her problems because she's too weak to face them herself. It just seems like she's trying to avoid her duties as your wife.
Actually, she didn't just hand me her phone, and I probably would have never found out that anything was going on because she never said anything to me. But today, as we're getting ready to head out, she was taking so long to come out of the bedroom. So I went to check on her. She was just sitting on the edge of the bed, her eyes all red from crying. I basically had to force it out of her that you were the one that was making her so sad. I just can't believe she kept all of this to herself this whole time. You have no idea how much you hurt her. She's absolutely crushed because of your harassment.
Hurt her? It's nothing like that. You know, Hunter, women are supposed to have a strong heart. Otherwise, how can you expect them to support their husband and children? I was only trying to teach her how to be a proper wife. Anyways, if she's gonna start crying each time we have a little misunderstanding, I don't really want her as my daughter-in-law. She's really not sociable with me, and on top of that, she's really poor.
What are you saying? What gave you the idea that Maggie was poor? She probably has as much saved up as I do, maybe even more. She's very frugal and never wastes money on unnecessary things.
What? She has money. Then how come she never comes along when I invite her to go shopping?
Not everyone thinks it's all that exciting to go on weekly shopping sprees like you. And some people like Maggie are just wiser about how they spend their money. So she's not poor. In fact, she's very economical. She works hard and doesn't waste her money on just material goods. I think that's very respectable of her.
Are you kidding me? What's the point of working so hard if you're not going to spend that money? It's just going to keep sitting in the bank. You see, because she was poor growing up, she thinks she just needs to hold on to whatever money she has.
Why do you talk like we grew up very wealthy or something? It's not like our family is so much better off than hers. We just have the money left over from selling that property years ago. But that's not going to last forever. You realize that, don't you?
Of course. So that's why I'm just enjoying myself now while there's still enough left. Anyway, since you and Margaret are already together, then that's perfect. Why don't the two of you come to the restaurant now? I'm still here with my friends, so you should join us too. And since Margaret actually isn't poor, then I can finally introduce her to the ladies without feeling embarrassed.
Did you not hear what I said earlier? I told you, I no longer want to associate with you. Ever. I'm really embarrassed to be your son. You should probably go find yourself a replacement son.
Oh, stop it already. You're just joking, right?
No, I'm totally serious. Maggie and I are gonna go look at a new house now.
A new house?
Yes, there was an offer for me to be transferred to one of our other offices. It would have been a really big step forward in my career too. But I wasn't really on board with it because I was worried about leaving you and Dad behind. But you've actually given me the perfect reason to accept that offer now. I just informed my boss about my decision, and he wants to get things moving right away.
Wait, what do you mean? You've never said anything about any offer. And you need to move? Where is your new office?
Do you honestly think that I'm going to tell you? And there's no need, if we're not going to see each other ever again.
Hunter! This is a joke, right? Why are you doing this? If it's about Margaret, I only said those things and behaved that way because I wanted to help you. It was all for your benefit.
My benefit? You were just harassing her and bullying her all behind my back.
You're kidding, right? You're not seriously gonna cut me out of your life completely, are you? Are you going to choose Margaret over me, your own mother? She grew up not even knowing who her father was. There's no way she was brought up properly. Hunter, you're going to regret this. You listen to what I say if you know what's best for you.
I've met Margaret's mother many times already. Compared to the way you are, she's a noble queen. I can't tell you how disappointed I am to be your son. I definitely regret calling you my mother all these years.
Wait, why don't we just talk this over like mature adults? I'll be right there.
Maggie and I won't be returning to that house for a while, so don't expect to find us when you get there. Like I said, there's no way I want to see you ever again.
Hunter, please, think about what you're saying. The money from the property sale, it's not going to last forever. What am I supposed to do when that runs out?
That's your problem, so figure it out yourself. I'd say it's just karma. Wait, or did you really think that I was going to help you out? Was that your intention, that as soon as the money ran out, you were going to come crying to me for help? Saying that you had no way of surviving so you can live with us?
Well, yeah. Isn't it pretty normal to expect that? I mean, isn't it the child's duty to take care of the parents when they get old? To give back for everything they provided while growing up?
I knew it. You're really something, you know? Despite all those terrible things you've been saying to Maggie, you still expect for us to take care of you in your old age. That's just ridiculous.
Give the phone back to Margaret. I'm sure she'll understand if I can explain my reasoning to her. So let me just talk to her, woman to woman.
Fine, if that's what you want. I'm gonna give the phone back to Maggie now.
Margaret, is that you? Please, you need to talk to Hunter. Tell him that this is all just a misunderstanding. It's not like I said all those things to you because I dislike you or anything. You know that, don't you? No, I'm sorry. I don't think I understand what you mean. Because I've never bullied anyone like that before. No, I told you this isn't bullying. I was just trying to educate you. I see. I suppose you did teach me a lot of things. You see, I knew you'd understand. So do me a favor and ask Hunter to reconsider what he said. Otherwise, we won't be able to survive. We might starve to death. What was it? A 10-cent refund on each can or bottle? Remember? Excuse me. You know, if you really get desperate enough, you can go around collecting empty cans or bottles. Good luck with that.
Hey, I'm finally done with work. Man, it's been such a hectic week training the new employee that's taking over my position. I'm on my way home now.
I'm glad you're finally done. I know it was stressing you out. And Hunter, I'm really sorry. I know you rushed everything for my sake.
What are you talking about? Besides, I should be the one who's apologizing. I had no idea my mom had been getting in touch with you behind my back and that she was causing you so much pain. I'm so sorry I wasn't able to notice sooner.
Do you remember the reason why Mom had to raise me on her own?
What? Yeah? You said that your father was killed in an accident.
Exactly. But he didn't die right after the accident. He lived for about 5.5 years afterwards.
Really? You never mentioned that.
I know, but he was paralyzed from the waist down, and he couldn't move on his own, so he needed a lot of care. And of course, he was in no shape to work. So my mom said that's why we didn't have much money when I was growing up.
I see. That must have been really tough.
Yeah, so I know that money doesn't buy happiness, and life isn't all about having money. But if something happens, having money or not can make all the difference. So she's always said that I should have enough saved up as an emergency fund, because you never know what could happen. I never told you any of this because it's not such an easy topic to bring up, and I didn't want you to get a bad impression, like I was expecting something bad to happen or anything. But I guess I might have been a bit too stingy sometimes. I'm sorry.
You don't need to be sorry. I'm just glad you finally told me everything. I don't want you to hold anything back from me. And Maggie, I want you to know that I'm really healthy.
Huh?
My job is in an office, so there's no risk of getting injured at work, and I spend most of my free time playing video games. In other words, I'm not much of a risk taker, so I'm just happy to be healthy and at peace every day.
I already know that, silly. Did you think I forgot or something?
And I'm a safe driver. I promise to always be a safe driver too. And you always cook such well-balanced meals for us.
Well, in that case, there's no reason not to live a long and healthy life.
Exactly. And I don't like being so wasteful either. So when we're both old and retired, let's use our savings and take an extravagant trip somewhere. And if we end up being poor because we end up spending too much on that trip, I don't think I'd even mind at all. I'm sure I'd still be really happy.
You're crazy, but that's a great plan. Then we'd both better live to be old and wrinkly together. I can't wait to take that trip with you.
Yep, that's a promise.
As for Linda, she tried to find our whereabouts by harassing Hunter's colleagues with constant phone calls to his office and even stalking the premises of my former preschool. She really caused a lot of trouble left and right, but thanks to our supportive friends and colleagues, she was never able to determine where we were living. Apparently, she tried to adopt a more frugal lifestyle, but I'm sure it wasn't a change she was able to make overnight, especially since she was such a spendthrift. She easily lost her self-control and kept going back to her old habits. As a result, she ended up having to borrow large sums of money from her friends, with no means of ever repaying them. So they all started to avoid her, and in the end, no one even wanted to see her anymore. She's struggling to pay back her debt right now, but she deserves every bit of it. And because of this incident, I had to leave my job as a preschool teacher. But her new life in a brand new place, it's going much better than anything we'd expected. And just last week, I gave birth to our first child, a beautiful and healthy baby boy. My mother, who was just as excited as Hunter and I, was also right there to celebrate my son's birth. I hope that one day I'm able to repay my mom for everything that she's taught me. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to see more content.